the unspoken prescription you're ignoring. You won't hear this in the waiting room. You won't find it on the glossy pamphlets. Yet it's as vital as your morning blood pressure check, and far more personal. I'm Dr. Arv Malhotra, gerontologist and lifelong student of the human body's whispers. Over decades I've sat with patients who've forsaken their own touch, convinced that that part of life quietly expired with their prime. But here's the truth they never told you. Self-pleasure isn't a relic of youth. It's not locker room banter. It's a biological key, one you hold in your own hands, to unlock robust aging, sharp minds, resilient hearts, peaceful sleep, and an immune system on high alert. Ignore it and the fallout shows up everywhere. In restless nights, in foggy thoughts, in stiff hips, and in a silent surrender of your selfhood. 1. The prostate's silent scream. Picture the prostate not as a passive bystander, but as a workshop, constantly producing, lubricating, contracting, releasing. Every ejaculation is a mini-flush. Old fluids swept away, fresh production encouraged, inflammation cooled. Neglect it, and you'll wake up dehydrated in your own bed, bladder screaming for relief for 5 times a night. Ignore the early signals, a heavier sensation, weaker stream, that nagging fullness, and you're paving the road to benign enlargement, bladder infections, even surgical intervention. One man I treated, once an avid morning rider on his bicycle, vanished from the roads because he dreaded the distance between him and a restroom. He told me later, "I thought I was just getting old. I had no idea I was starving my prostate of movement." 2. Fog in the headlamp of your mind. You felt it. The doorway you step through and suddenly your purpose slips away. The phone rings, you forget whose voice rings out. Names dissolve on your tongue. Behind the scenes, every orgasm was dispatching dopamine messengers, serotonin peacemakers, oxytocin comforters, fuel for the synapses. It was recharging your neural network, promoting blood flow, dialing back cortisol's assault. Cut off that circuit and cognition dims, decision-making slows, motivation dries up. Watch fear creep in. Fear of forgetting, fear of losing yourself, fear that the room you enter will be another puzzle you can't solve. I once saw a retired professor, his library of facts intact, retreat from teaching because he couldn't think fast enough. It wasn't age. It was a brain starved of its natural spark. 3. The quiet birth of depression. Depression doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in dull tones. "I don't feel anything," a widow in her 70s told me. Nothing. No joy. No sorrow. Just flat gray days. Climax was her outlet, her body's built-in therapy, flooding her with endorphins and oxytocin. Cease that practice and the stress accumulates, loneliness deepens, grief entombs your heart. In one case, a man who refused to touch himself after losing his partner spent 6 months in a fog, until he finally wrote me, "I only felt alive again when I remembered how to feel at all." That act wasn't indulgence, it was survival. 4. Sleepless nights, weekend days. You've tried every sleep app, every tea, every breathing drill. Yet you still lie there, counting the ceiling's cracks at 2 a.m., muscles wound tight, mind replaying yesterday's regrets. Orgasm is nature's lullaby. Cortisol plummets, oxytocin and prolactin rise, heart rate slows, body melts into deep sleep. Remove it and you rob your circadian rhythm of its anchor, chronic restlessness, daytime fatigue, a weakened immune system, and a creeping sense that life is passing by in blurry exhaustion. One patient's wife complained, "He's here, but he's not present." The man himself nodded miserably, "I'm living in my dreams while my body stays awake." 5. The foundation beneath you. Your pelvic floor is an unsung hero, a hammock of muscles that cradles bladder, bowel, and sexual organs. Every orgasm is its own PT session. Rhythmic contractions that strengthen, energize, and maintain elasticity. Stop stimulating and those fibers atrophy. experience leaks, sudden urges, aches in your hips and lower back. I treated a former firefighter, once proud of his strength, who now tiptoed around social gatherings, fearing an unexpected leak. The culprit wasn't injury or illness. It was neglect of the very muscles that once carried him through every rescue. 6. A vulnerable army within. Your immune system is not a static fortress. It's an army that rallies with every biochemical signal. During arousal and climax, your body floods with immunoglobulins, IgA, endorphins, and other defenders. Forgo that boost and you send your troops home early. Sudden colds, lingering infections, slow recoveries become the new normal. One septuagenarian I know contracted 3 respiratory infections in one winter. I used to bounce back in days, he said. Now I'm down for weeks. When we resumed a conversation about his intimate life, he blushed, and then recovered faster than he had in years. 7. The erosion of self. Perhaps the most devastating outcome isn't medical. It's existential. When you stop touching yourself, you risk losing ownership of your body. You become an observer, not a participant. Self-touch is presence. It tells your nervous system, I'm here. I matter. Lose that dialogue and you drift away from your own skin, your own identity. A retired school principal once confided, I don't feel like myself anymore. My body feels foreign. That disconnection spread. He stopped dressing with care, stopped tending to his garden, stopped looking in the mirror. Reintroducing him to self-care through gentle touch rekindled something deeper than sensation. It rekindled his will to live. Your new prescription. So what now? You have the key in your grasp. No surgical suite required. No expensive pharmaceuticals. Just you, your body, and a decision. 1. Permission. Grant yourself the right to care for your sexual self. No shame, no apology. 2. Practice. Start gently, regularly. Treat it as a vital sign, not a guilty pleasure. 3. Observe, track your sleep, your mood, your strength, your confidence. Imagine mornings when you rise rested, nights when you drift off easily, days when your mind is crisp, and afternoons when your bladder holds without fear. Picture yourself inhabiting your body fully, present, powerful, at peace. This isn't about reclaiming youth. It's about embracing your life right here, right now, with dignity and joy. As I've witnessed time and again, the moment you reconnect with your own touch, you don't just feel better, you remember what it means to feel alive. If this resonates, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've tried reclaiming your self-care in this way, I'd love to hear your story below. Hit that subscribe button and join us on a journey through the timeless wisdom of the older generation. Don't miss a single life-changing lesson.